It is my distinct honor to introduce our commencement speaker, Jenny Dearborn. Hopefully you had a chance to read Jenny's profile in our program. If you did, you were immediately impressed with her professional resume, including her current position as the Executive Vice President and Chief Talent and Leadership Officer for the SAP organization of more than 990,000 employees worldwide. You also read about Jenny's numerous local awards, including the 2017 Female Business Executive of the Year and the International Athena Leadership Award. For 3 consecutive years, she was recognized as one of the most powerful women in technology by the National Diversity Council. Her publications and media appearances are substantial, and her advocacy for advancing women in business and championing causes of equity and diversity throughout Silicon Valley and the country are well documented. But beyond all of this powerful and influential work, I am proud to introduce Jenny as a community college alumni who found purpose and direction while attending American River College and then used her experience to propel her forward into a superhero path of her own design, discovering qualities about herself and the power of education to shape her own story along the way. Jenny, please come forward.
President Rose, Gavilan, College Board, and distinguished members of the faculty, it's an honor to be with you all today, alumni, special guests, family members, and friends who have gathered here. Most of all, it's an honor to be with you, the class of 2018. You've worked hard to get to this day, and your family and friends who have come here to cheer you on are surely experiencing all kinds of emotions: proud, excited, fulfilled, maybe even a little terrified. I looked for some inspiring quotes about conquering fear, but then I realized you know how to conquer fear already. I know that because you're here. You're graduating with hard-earned, well-deserved degrees. You've made a bold choice to give yourself an education, a chance at a great future. You knew it would be a lot of work outside of your comfort zone, and you chose to put fear aside and do it anyway. For that, for me and for all of us, we salute you. And I also know something about what it took for you to reach this incredibly meaningful milestone, because I also graduated from a California community college, American River College up in Sacramento, and I owe who I am today to the community college system. You see, it feels very fitting for your commencement to be taking place on an athletic field. I spent a lot of time in my youth running around on a field just like this. I wasn't on the track team, but I was sent outside to run by my teachers when I got too fidgety in the classroom. The idea was that I was going to burn off some excess energy. You see, throughout my elementary, middle, and high school years, I was pulled out of the mainstream classroom and put into special education classes. I had a really hard time reading, and my public school teachers just assumed that I was not capable. They gave me busy work and passed me from grade to grade without ever realizing I didn't know how to read. But I didn't think I was dumb. I always felt like there was something wrong, but not with me, kind of with the world. But just between us, I actually thought I was magical. I must have been adopted, I thought. I love my parents, but maybe my real parents are like a magical king and queens from some amazing magical country, probably somewhere in Europe. And, you know, they're going to come and find me someday and take me away from all this, the pain and the anguish of going to school every day. They're going to tell me I was destined for greatness, to be something bigger and brighter and better than my current reality. My teachers and school counselors seemed so positive that I lacked abilities. It never occurred to me to question them about why I couldn't put letters on a page and make sentences, but I could memorize absolutely everything that I heard. So I spent a lot of time when I was a kid and a teenager out running around the track to burn off extra energy, and in my own imaginary magical world where it wasn't so painful. I escaped into my mind and created stories about what my life was going to be like someday. Maybe for some of you, you do that also. For reasons of your own, you fantasize about a different life. So I barely graduated from high school with no clue of what to do next. So I decided to go to the local community college, and that's where someone changed my life. She was not a fairy godmother or a princess or a queen, but she was definitely magical. I met Deirdre when I was volunteering. My schedule had long breaks in the middle of between my morning classes and my afternoon classes. And I lived too far away from campus to go home. So to stay busy, I went into the counseling office and volunteered and asked them to give me something to do. Deidre worked at the American River College counseling office. She said to me one day, "You know, you seem to be a lot more intelligent than your grades seem to show. I wonder if you've ever been tested for a learning disability." I was like, "What? What are you talking? What's a learning disability?" No clue. So I got tested. I was diagnosed with severe dyslexia, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which is called ADHD, obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. I had a whole alphabet of diagnoses, which was kind of ironic for somebody who was not so good with letters. These days, it's hard to imagine that anyone could complete 12 years of primary education without someone recognizing these kind of conditions. But this was the late 70s and early 80s, and parents and teachers just didn't know what they didn't know. So I'm thankful that Deirdre was ahead of her time. And today, community colleges like Gavilan have an accessible education center with an amazing array of resources and help for students with learning and other disabilities. What was available to me in 1987 was much less sophisticated, but it worked. The game changer for me was books on tape. Right now, I'm carrying around over 100 audiobooks and magazines on my cell phone at any given time. But back then, everything I read had to be mail ordered and came in about 20 cassette tapes that I played on this special giant plastic suitcase size player for the blind. This giant heavy suitcase was incredible because I could slow down the speech. So I put a textbook on my desk, and with a ruler, I would follow along and listen to the audio at the same time. And slowly, getting faster and faster, and that's what taught me to recognize words. So at age 20, I could finally learn to read. It took a long time. I had to re-listen and reread every chapter, every paragraph, every word, but I didn't care. Finally, teachers told me that I was smart and that I had potential. I was getting A's for the first time in my life. Now that is magical. With a reduced course load and summer school every year, I graduated college in 4.5 years, 2 years at American River College and 2.5 at UC Berkeley. And on graduation day, I sat with my friends, just like you are today, excited, proud, fulfilled, and just a little bit terrified. As I stand here, I try to imagine everything you have achieved in your time here that you couldn't have imagined, the people you have met who have changed how you see yourself, what gifts you have received. I feel all over again deep gratitude for the day I earned my associate's degree. Thank you for inspiring me and for inspiring all of us with your determination, your drive, and your dreams. With the magic that each of you brought to this place, you will now go out and share it in the world. I want to tell you a little bit about what I did after I graduated, because I truly believe working hard to make dreams come true, and perhaps my story may help you figure out how you can achieve your dreams. Like some of you will do, I transferred to the UC system. I'm sure you know that 29% of University of California graduates and 51% of California State University graduates started in a California community college. And community college transfers are 48% of UC graduates in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We community college graduates are mighty. Always remember that. So I went to UC Berkeley. The girl who once couldn't read majored in English. Thank you very much. I earned my BA, and I wanted to become a teacher. I wanted to get right what my teachers got so wrong. I wanted to help young people recognize and truly realize their potential. And the best teaching program in the country was Stanford. So of course that's where I went, because I am so effing magical, I can do anything I want. And nothing was going to stop me. And now I'm going to make a long story short, because that's my number one job as a commencement speaker. I taught high school English and drama for a few years. Then I moved into the business world as a teacher, and into a field that's called corporate learning and development. And I worked my way up through several different Silicon Valley tech companies to the most senior position called Chief Learning Officer, or CLO. That's more letters after my name for some irony. So the girl whose teachers thought she couldn't learn is now in charge of learning at some of the world's largest and most important global corporations. In 25 years, I've had a chief learning officer, chief talent officer job at 5 major Silicon Valley tech companies. And today I'm the executive vice president in human resources, chief learning officer at SAP, the world's largest business-to-business software company. There are nearly 95,000 employees at SAP in 190 countries, and I'm responsible for their ongoing learning, education, and development so they can be successful and in turn make our corporation and customers successful around the world. Most importantly, it's still my job to help people recognize and realize their potential. It's my responsibility and my honor and privilege to nurture people on my team and to help them nurture and people on their teams to the best they can be, to do work that they find satisfying and that uses their talents. It's the best way I can think to give back, to rebalance the world I grew up in, and to encourage people to dream and achieve their dreams. And this brings me to the advice that I want to leave you with, which is my second job as a commencement speaker, is to leave with advice. So believe in yourself. Here's 4 things. Believe in yourself, apply yourself, figure out your magic, and pay it forward. Those are your 4 things. Number 1, believe in yourself, even and especially when others do not. When the going gets tough and you want to give up, if other people haven't realized that you are magical, they will. But you need to show them. This is where the next piece of advice comes in. Number 2, apply yourself. There's no substitute for hard work. And I don't just mean applying yourself academically. No doubt many of you have had to work while you were earning your degree. Me too. But being magical alone doesn't pay the bills. I got some scholarship money to attend Berkeley, but while I was there, I was also the night manager at a bakery, and I worked at a frozen yogurt shop, and I made sandwiches at a deli, and I folded shirts at the Gap, and I babysat, and I delivered newspapers on my bike. And because you got to do what you got to do, I'm a little embarrassed, I earned some scholarship money as a 3rd runner-up in the Miss Sacramento pageant. You just have to, right? You go where the money is, I'm telling you. And what I found, the harder that I worked, the luckier I got. You want your circumstances to change? Great. Work your butt off and put every bit of that energy into the universe, and luck will come back to you. Number 3, figure out your magic. Okay, so let me ask you a question. How many of you here either have a learning disability of some kind or know someone who does? There we go, nice and proud. Raise your hand. Now, raise your hand if you knew that the people with dyslexia or some other type of learning disability actually have amazing advantages over the people that don't. Yeah? Awesome. First of all, because I have to focus so hard when I read, I have a fantastic memory, which comes in handy for both pop quizzes and corporate board meetings or live television shows, which I've done also, which is very stressful. And I find it very natural and straightforward to see all the pieces of the big picture. Even when there's a lot of ambiguity and complexity, my brain can see how to make sense of all this chaos. It turns out that this is a unique gift that dyslexics have. You have special gifts and talents. You may already know what some of them are now, and you'll discover and conquer these new challenges. So try things and fail, and try again and fail, and then try again and succeed. It's part of the adventure of bringing the best of you into the world. Number 4, pay it forward. Remember how I met Deidre, who helped diagnose me with my learning disabilities? I met her because I volunteered at the school. I didn't know where I'd be today if I don't know where I'd be if I had decided to play frisbee on the quad or smoke cigarettes in the parking lot in my free time between classes instead. So if you put good into the world, it will come back to you. Whether it's one of your magical gifts or just the gift of your time and your 2 hands, give back. Help someone like you. Talk to high school kids who might not otherwise go to college about the positive experience you've had here. Encourage your younger relatives, your friends, your neighbors to help make their dreams come true. And one parting thought. I learned something very interesting when I was doing research about Gavilan. And that's, you have on your campus an Omeo tree. Did I say that right? That is a national champion tree, meaning it's the largest known example of this species of tree in the entire United States. You can see it for yourself on the southeast corner of the administration parking lot. It was apparently planted by a man named Ray Williams, who in 1966 began designing the landscape and planting trees here in the Gilroy campus. I understand that Mr. Williams was ahead of his time. He designed a landscape that fits with its surroundings, and he planted sustainable plants that were resistant to drought. Who would have thought that there would be a national championship tree on a campus of a small community college in California? But California community colleges are full of hidden treasures, aren't they? Like me and like all of you, magical treasures that are nurtured with care by people who are ahead of their time. These treasures are sustainable. They can survive any drought, and they will grow despite it all. Graduates of Gavilan College, believe in yourself, apply yourself, figure out your magic, and pay it forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny.